Dr. V here from Oak Grove Chiropractic, and I'm here doing another episode of Local Legends. And I am here with Chris Reynolds from Royer Funeral Home here in Oak Grove. And so, Chris, I have a question for you. What is one thing that you wish more people knew about your business or your profession?
I would say one thing I wish more people knew or had an idea of is the importance of having the conversations ahead of time about what your loved one would want for themselves as far as arrangements go. And I'm not talking necessarily about having everything planned out or prepaid, but just having those conversations, because when they're done in advance, you have a good idea of what they want for themselves, what you want for them, and you can communicate those ideas to them. When you take out the aspect of grief and have those conversations, you really, it doesn't have to be a sad thing. I mean, we ultimately know everyone's going to pass away. And so knowing what you want and communicating that to your family members, and likewise what they might want for you. It's interesting to see the people that have the mindset of not wanting any type of service or something like that. But then when you get input from the children, say, well, especially after a visitation, and you get good feedback like, oh my gosh, this was so good. I haven't seen Mrs. So-and-so in so long, and it was good to see them. And it's really beneficial, and people don't realize what they cheat themselves out of by not doing some type of, it doesn't have to be a traditional funeral service or some type of ceremony, but just a visitation or a celebration of life. That's really a huge aspect of being able to cope with grief and accept that loss. And it really brings a lot to someone in order to have that. So that's one thing I would say, having those conversations ahead of time, knowing, what someone wants, it makes a huge difference, especially when it does come time for someone to pass and you haven't had those conversations. That adds a whole nother level of grief that no one can even, comprehend. So that's one thing I would say. I wish more people would know. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, a traditional service or ceremony. It could just be, a get together, at your church or at a public space, more of that celebration of life. Yeah, memorial. So that's one thing I wish people would have a better idea of an understanding of. So,
yeah. Okay, my next question is, what do you love about having a brick and mortar business in Oak Grove? Like, did you always want to have a business in Oak Grove? Like, what's your favorite thing about having a business here?
Well, obviously, Royer Funeral Home, my family's business, has been here since, 1959. So a long time, long established business. I would say one thing I love, is just the community that we're in. We have served these families for generations. And you get to know them on a deeper level than just a customer or a client. We have long lasting relationships with the families that we serve. And I would say as a whole, just the community of Oak Grove, just the support that they have for one another when someone passes away, to see that support of your fellow neighbors and community members coming around a family to support them. It's amazing. So you don't get that in a big city environment. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite thing about Oak Grove too, is that we have that, small community feel. And everybody knows each other, and it's just crazy how much the community rallies around heartbreak and loss, and make sure that we're all there to support each other. Well, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate your time, and stay tuned for next week for our next episode of Local Legends.